Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brunch with Bigfoot, Mr. Rob, and I'm your host, BMR. As always, typically this is where I always say, as always, I'm joined by the bearded one, Tex. Tex, well, you know what? Tex is on vacation with the missus. He's on the vacation with the missus. So I've got the lovely and talented Jessica Jones coming in here in a few minutes to help me out today. If this is your first time here, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, hit the alert bell, and share with friends. You can find us on YouTube at Texas Front Porch and Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Please subscribe. And you know what? Subscribe to the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, as well. In addition, you can find us on Odyssey and iHeartRadio, along with KPNL Radio. Thanks to the lovely Ann Celine for that one. Also, wherever podcasts are found, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Spreaker. We are on Facebook at Texas Front Porch, and you can also reach us by email at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to Texas Front Porch. Subscribe to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, and yes, of course, Jessica Jones, the Cryptid Huntress. If you like and enjoy our content, the Super Chat is always open, as well as the new Super Things. Long after the show is over, you can rewatch them, you guys, and it's free. But if you want to give us Super Thanks, go ahead. Every dollar counts. We love you guys, but we don't want your money. We want you to like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can find all the rest of our stores, our PayPals, our Venmos on our About sections on YouTube. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring up Jessica. Jessica.
Hey, Rob.
How the devil are you?
I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
You know, I'm doing good finally. I'm doing good, Jess. You know,
I know you had a rough patch this week.
I've had a rough patch, and you know, it all started by changing carriers on my cell phone. I went from Sprint, that was bought up by T-Mobile, to AT&T. They wouldn't portal, we talk about portals every day. Well, they didn't port me from T-Mobile to AT&T for 5 days because T-Mobile, I will say it on your lousy service. I am bad mouthing T-Mobile. If you have them, get rid of them. Okay. If a T-Mobile executive is listening, you suck.
Oh my gosh.
So with that being said, AT&T, got my phone on, but 5 days without a phone. I mean, I couldn't keep in contact with anybody. I found out my sister-in-law, who's in Las Vegas, contracted an illness in Las Vegas of some sort. Ruined her weekend. And then 36 hours, no power, Jess. No power, Jessica Jones.
Yeah. And insult to injury.
No power. And I forgot I've got a wet bar in my basement. And you know what? It decided to defrost on me. I had about a foot of water. Didn't even recognize it till I wandered through in darkness. And my feet were, up to my knees almost in water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the show today, we're not going to go the full hour and a half. I got you for about an hour. And because I got things I need to do, right? Life does go on. We do have lives, don't we, Jessica?
Yeah, we do. And that's understandable, Rob. We got other stuff to do today. So, go clean that floor.
Yeah. I'm gonna clean that amongst other, and I'm gonna tear out my garden. I'm really mad, so I'm gonna tear out my garden because that's picking me off too. I'm done with the cucumbers already, but my jalapenos and habaneros haven't come through quite yet. So usually I get those in October of all times. There's another weird thing about the state of Michigan. So, anyways, I advertised this show as Night Terrors, or should we be scared? And no, it wasn't fluff to get people just to watch the show. It's because, Jessica, it got me to thinking when I wrote that. That was about 2 a.m. I put out the advertisement. Night terrors. Should we be scared in the woods? And, I'm an advocate of people hunting and fishing. I'm an advocate of people going out in the woods camping the weekend, a week, a month. If you're a researcher like yourself of 10 years, hey, if you can afford to do a month, do it. Some of us people, novices maybe in the woods, and maybe we want to look for something like a dog man or some unknown cryptid, much like yourself, Jessica. Mm-hmm. Should we always, not to scare people, and this is fun. Doing research is fun. Going to the woods is fun, but we know, let's face it, there's a missing 411, right? People get lost in the woods every day. And let's face it, another fact, and I can say fact, and I can say this and not regret it. People get killed, right? There are people that get killed in the woods. Unspecified, not everything's a bear or a wolf. We know that. And I think you've proven certain things, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
should we be scared sometimes? What do we need to do? I mean, what's your thoughts? I mean, I saw with you and Trey and the cube. I'd be scared to walk in the woods and walk into a cube or a portal and never return. So, is that a legitimate concern that I have?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should be scared to some degree. If you're not, not even scared, it's cautious. Okay, let me rephrase that. Everyone should be very cautious. Okay, you not everyone should be afraid though. Okay, don't let a fear of something stop you from doing anything like camping and that kind of stuff. You have to take precautions to protect yourself. Okay, and to know your terrain and where you're going, the animals that are in the region, the cryptids that are in the region. Okay, it'd be good to know those things. Okay, and but yeah, I don't think you should be scared, but I think you should be cautious. Okay, uh, yeah,
I would agree with that. And but I got to thinking because a lot of people, it's like if I get to thinking about something, I can scare myself out of something. If I think too much about the LBL, right? I
yeah.
might not want to go to the land between the lakes and camp out for a month, right? Or a week or the weekend
Well,
because of what I
it
know
depends.
that's presumably went on, right?
Yeah, well, that I mean, things like that go on all over the place. Actually, for our my show tomorrow night, remote viewing investigations, I've already remote viewed 3 recent deaths that were classified as either packs of dogs killing people or unspecified animal attacks. And so I spent my morning remote viewing 2 maulings. Okay, so it's not pretty, and there are a lot of animals out in those woods too. Okay, so it's not just dog man and Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times they get blamed for animal attacks. Okay, and so we're gonna find out tomorrow night. I'm not giving my information away today, but
No,
it's
you can
very
keep it at that.
dangerous
Yeah,
out
I'll be joining you for that one tomorrow too. And
there. Yeah.
and that's another thing too. And I'm not even talking about cryptids. You could be out in the woods, and there could be just a pack of just wild mange coyotes, wild dogs, right? That you gotta look out for. When you go
Could
out in the
be.
woods, how do you have a plan of attack? When you go with your team, do you have a specific I don't know what you would call a formal plan written out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have protocol. We do.
Hmm.
We don't go anywhere alone. That is against protocol. Okay, and so we always have to have at least one person with us when we're wandering around out in the woods. We all carry CB radios. We all have our ham radios on us. Uh, I highly recommend getting at least walkie talkies. You have to have a walkie talkie or something, and always have somebody back at base camp to communicate with and to kind of be the lead communicator and just to make sure everybody knows where everybody is at all times and to be in constant communication. And we all protect ourselves,
Yeah.
okay, and we're all very tough and we know self-defense training and situational awareness and all that kind of stuff. So highly recommended if you're going to
You
be in
know,
the woods.
and again, it's enough of brunch with Bigfoot Rob 101 safety in the woods. But I just had to get that and let everybody know about that because for some reason I felt concerned last night, right? I guess it's because subconsciously I know a good friend of mine is taken to up north with him, his wife, and his son, who's 15, for the very first time. And he said, Rob, I'm going off trail looking for Bigfoot. The guy's never camped. So I was giving him much of the same things you said. And I was like, dude, I probably would just camp in the park area. I don't
Oh
think I
yeah.
would go off trail
Right.
because the guy's never even done this or hiked before. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, when it comes to people who have not been in the woods before and aren't really familiar with camping like that, I would recommend going to a park where they have bathroom facilities. Okay,
yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
things like that. If you're not familiar with roughing it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that his wife is not going to be all too happy.
It's an adventure though. It's fun.
Hey, I would find it fun. I know you think it's fun, and many of our listeners think it's fun. But moving on from that, I got to ask you because I'm really into these portals and this time travel stuff, and I got to ask you, what do you think? Now I know I've heard about the cube and such, the
Mhm.
meadow, but what do you think when we walk through a portal, what we're actually walking into? Do you think it's a different dimension, a different realm? Do you think it's into the future, the past, or do you think they vary? I know it's a
I
loaded question, but your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Well, I think different portals do different things, and some can take you off planet. Maybe some do go take you into a different dimension. I think honestly, the one that we encountered, I this is my personal opinion. I think it might have something to do with military technology. I think something that our government has, or I don't know, it just didn't seem very natural. So, who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to walk into one and stay there long enough to find out if I can help it.
That's interesting that you say military because I'm not a war history buff or anything like that. But if there was a portal and it was used in let's say military exercises, wouldn't that be so easy to conquer your enemy if you just took 1,000,000 men or 12 troops and just kind of instead of flying them in or walking in, transport them right from a portal and get there in seconds and just totally surprise the enemy. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking when I think military portals.
Oh yeah. And what about the secret space program? And perhaps being able to travel off planet through portals, wormholes.
You
Yeah.
know, I think that we do. I, I think I'm open minded to the fact that I think portals can take us anywhere. I'm not an advocate. I don't think we can go back in time, but I certainly think that we can be teleported into the future. And I think that what happens is then we can when we get into the other side into the future, but then you're lost because there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe we can do this on Madman Markham. This guy was a time traveler,
Mhm.
and he had set up he actually built. This is on the Art Bell show. He built a time travel machine. What he did was he set this machine up and he threw a screw through it. It was set up like the Frankenstein thing. I mean, it looked like the old movies the guy was explaining. He picks up a screw, he throws it through the machine with the electronics going and everything, and all of a sudden it disappeared. And then 10 feet in front of him, the screw just appeared right. It dropped, it fell right there. And then he would experiment with other things like pencils, bricks, heavy items, light items, and they would keep moving forward. So he'd been going on experimenting for over a year. Now this guy ends up a year later builds a bigger one just where he can fit his body through. And Bart Bell's like, "You gotta be crazy! You're walking through this. Were you thinking about getting killed?" He goes, "Oh yeah, it was like 20,000 volts going through this machine." So this guy says he walked through it. He was 23 years old. He walked through this. He says he got teleported across from the East Coast to the West Coast. And when he got there, he was it was 20 years into the future, yet he was still the same age.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, Art Bill had several time travelers calling into his show, from what I remember. I think there were a few, uh, because I've looked into one or two of those myself. So I mean, I think it happens.
See, that long story I just told is not because of he built this time. I don't think the guy built a time machine and walked through electricity. That's what he said. I think that's what we can do with these portals.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what they are. You know, I don't know. I'm not an expert on portals. I just know my team has encountered one or two, and we've documented them. So now, as far as where they take you, I don't know, but I do think that perhaps it could be where a lot of those missing people are going.
Mhm.
Out of those parks and
Because
Who knows?
I was wondering too about astral travel. Is that kind of this? That's not going through a portal. You know anything that you can you touch on that a little bit? Astral portal, astral projection.
I mean, it's similar to remote viewing, kind of. I mean,
See what I think.
yeah,
What I think that is like, but you are leaving. I mean, you can actually. When I envision astral travel or projection, it's just going to sound kind of dumb and crazy, but I feel like you're floating or floating through time, but you're awake and you're looking.
yeah,
Almost like it's going to sound funny, you guys. I admit this. Almost like Superman, right? You're up in a
yeah,
galaxy looking down. Is that kind of that's
yeah.
what I envision when I hear that?
Yeah, it's like in your dream state basically. But yeah, it's outside of your body. So you're not taking your body with you. So it's you without your body, okay? And
Okay.
you're just traveling, okay? A lot of people astral travel, in your dreams and in the dream state. And a lot of people, when you wake up in the morning and you're super tired, but you slept all night and you shouldn't be tired, but you feel like you've been working and stuff. A lot of that's you astral traveling all night while your body's asleep. Yeah.
I'm wondering too, man. We're talking. The theme of today's show was night terrors and being scared. I'd be scared about picking up something nefarious or some demonic
Hmm.
entity along the way.
Yeah, you can do that. And actually, we have uh, we could do that while we remote view as well. And so we have to take we have measures that we take to not have that happen. Okay. Because lower vibrational entities, let's say, will try to distract you. And you don't want to come back with attachments and things like that because that's a real thing.
Getting attached to is that you always talk about, Jessica. If anyone watches you do your little your talk on your show, not the big show, but like telling people about vibrations and frequencies.
Yeah.
So, am I to understand a person with a lower frequency or vibration is more apt to pick up these type of demonic entities, and if you have a higher frequency, it's more positive? Is that kind of correct? Or
I mean, generally, I would say yes. I'm not an expert on this stuff,
yeah,
okay, but I do know a little bit about
yeah,
it.
we're just talking. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, I believe so, and that's why it's especially important, not to try to break free of addictions, drinking and drugs and things like that. Because when your body, it puts you in a lower vibrational frequency, and that's when things can attach to you, when these negative entities can attach to you. And a lot of psychic people have said that when they are in a bar, for instance, and
hmm
people are drinking and drunk and blackout drunk, there are black, dark energies surrounding them, just waiting to pounce on them and to attach to those people. And so, it's just something to be aware of.
So, are you inadvertently suggesting I quit drinking beer?
Yes. No, actually, just don't get blackout drunk. How
No,
about that?
I don't think I've ever blacked out once. Once I blacked out on blackberry brandy, and that's a long story. I was 21. So yeah,
Oh,
I did
man.
read that though people that are addicted to drugs, I mean heavy addictions, I did read where their mind is just open for anything to enter.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And when you're on a higher vibrational frequency, and by that, I mean, not living in fear. Okay. Like a lower vibration would be being scared all the time and fear. And listen, I think the number one way to fight it is to turn your TV off. Okay. And that helps raise your vibrational frequency. Eating good foods, whole foods, things that are good for you, instead of all these processed box foods and stuff like that. Have you ever, Rob, gone to a fast food restaurant? I'm not going to say one in particular, but there's one that I went to about a month ago. I ate a burger, and it rhymes with Lopper. Okay, it was I love these burgers, right? I think
Yeah.
they're the best, but I ate
Oh
a
yeah.
burger and I could have sworn it had sleeping medicine in it or something. I mean, I had been eating really well,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I'm going to splurge and go have me a burger. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to go home and sleep, and I felt horrible. I literally felt like I had been drugged. Okay. It was a horrible feeling, and I will never eat one of those burgers ever again because I feel like it just had so much bad stuff in it. I don't know what was in that thing. But we just have to be mindful of what we eat because it really does bring your vibrational frequency down.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that because I noticed that if I in the summertime I barbecue right all the time. I do the
Yeah.
grill 3 4 times a week, right? And then maybe once a week I might just go screw it and go up the same place you went. And if I make my own food, prepare my own food, or even go to a better restaurant, I feel fine. But
Yeah.
something about these fast food chains, and I'm not saying this because of what you just said. I literally eat it half hour later. If I go to sit down, I'm dozing off for about an hour.
Yeah.
And I get all
Yeah.
and it's worse than a hangover. I've been hungover. Okay. This is like a fast food hangover, and it's way worse.
Yeah, it is bad. It's really bad. So, and not to say I don't love going to get a
I
cheesy gordita
ab
crunch every now and then.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
I do
mm.
love those.
Oh yeah, I like me and my
But
taco swell.
yeah,
Taco swell, everybody.
right. I do. I listen. I don't deprive myself or my son from fast food completely because we still, it's a treat to get to go
Yeah, you gotta
every
get
now and
that.
then.
Yeah,
It's all about moderation, but we have to be careful and mindful about what we're eating, what we're putting into our bodies, because it does bring our vibrational frequency down, which not only can make us more prone to getting sick. But it just brings our energy levels down, and you don't feel as motivated to get out and do fun stuff.
yeah,
That raises your vibrational frequency.
yeah. You, earlier we were talking about you shouldn't be addicted. If you're addicted to drugs, if you're an alcoholic, or whatever, you might be more exposed to these lower vibrations or these
Yes.
entities. Now, it makes me wonder because I don't talk about this topic too often about the bar, right?
Okay.
There would be many late nights closing that I would hear things going on. I told several stories about
Yeah.
glasses would break. I'd have the entire bar top cleaned, and then getting ready to leave, there's an empty beer bottle sitting there in a half full liquor bottle. And I
Wow.
was and I was would look around and say, hello, is there somebody here? Because a lot of my people, when the bar closed at 2 o'clock, they might be there till 4 in the morning, just hanging out, cleaning and
Yeah.
taking some libations, which I didn't care if they did. But it seemed like every time I was by myself and closed up, something odd happens. Now, is that because of the dwelling itself, you think, that captures these spirits? And perhaps it was some entity playing? Because I have a story I'm going to tell. And my thing is this: do you think that these spirits are trapped in like establishments like this? And they don't have to be a bar, it could be a restaurant, it could be a mausoleum, a funeral, but I think that a funeral home, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider them trapped if they're doing something that they want to do. I don't know. There's some people that say that we have a lot of earthbound spirits right now. Barry Littleton talks about that quite a bit, and the prevalence of earthbound spirits that don't cross over to the other side because there's so many souls that are here right now that aren't. Not to say they weren't in touch with their spiritual side when they were alive. Okay, in these
Mm-hmm.
human meat suits, but they have attachments. Okay, and a lot of humans have attachments to addictions. Okay, like drinking,
Mm-hmm.
uh, partying, drugs, sex,
Mm-hmm.
property. Okay, just think of all the ghost stories you hear about where people's homes are haunted by either residual haunts or by something that seems to be still living there in their house. It's because people are attached to their homes. They're attached to whatever, and just they don't want to cross over because either they don't realize they're dead,
Mm-hmm.
or they just don't want to go. They want to stay and live their regular lives. So that's an issue. Okay, and but that's why we got to be careful too about some souls feel like they are stuck here, and they're looking to attach to human bodies. Even children, they're looking to hop into children and live vicariously through them. So I don't know. I haven't taken a deep dive into that myself, but I know Barry has. Excuse me. He's made a few videos about it.
Yeah, and since we're on the topic, it was like I'm going to share this with you. I don't know if I shared this with you before, and I will get your take on this because I found my place of business, the bar that I used to own. It used to this place was there for many, many years. It went dated way back to even the gangster era, to bootlegging, right? And there was one night, so a lot of times if I would have closed up at night, my office was in the basement, which is creepy enough. Okay.
Mhm.
And at night, I whisked everybody out. I said, look, everybody go home early. I will close up everything. So I battened down all the hatches. I cleaned off the bar tables. I cleaned off the bar. I had a square bar in the center. Remember that show Cheers?
Mhm. Oh
Okay, it was
yeah.
kind of set up like that. Then I had on the outside of the bar there would be tables and chairs and booths. So you could drink there, you could eat there. You could dance there. We did everything. It was a sizable place. In fact, I had two different rooms. So I'm in the base. So I get everything cleared up. I turn the lights. I dim the lights. I go in the basement, do some paperwork in the office, and it's about an hour into it, and I hear what appears to be up in the bar from the basement. I hear what appears to be people talking, right? But I can't make out what they're saying. But it seems like, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I know there's nobody in here, and I'm going up the stairs. I'm going up, and I look, and there's nothing. There's nothing going on. So I looked around. I made sure the front door was locked. The side door was locked. I checked the bathrooms. Some people find some. You'd be Jessica. The only times I would find passed out people in the bathroom after I close, to get them out of there. So I had to look for all that.
Yeah.
So I go back down to the office and I come back up, and sitting around at the corner, I see these entities, and I'm looking at them, and they're at the corner. There was two guys and two women, and they were both at the corner. They were transparent. I could see through them, and they were dressed. The two guys remind me of guys like gangsters. They had like it appeared to be suits and the hats.
From the 1920s or something.
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
but the women, they look kind of like flappers. They had
Yeah.
like the frilly outfit with they even had the headband type thing on. In fact, one
Yeah.
even appeared to have the cigarette holder, right,
Oh,
for the
nice.
cigarette.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these things and I'm shaking my head, and I can hear low whispers, and I kind of like go try to get their attention. I mean, I for some reason I was like amazed at this, and then as I get further up the stairs and I look and I notice, now what I tell you earlier, Jessica, I cleaned off the bar top.
Mhm.
There was two shot glasses on on the bar. One was full, and there was a bottle of wine with two wine glasses.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get a hold. Now I'm like, hello. I'm like, now, hello. And yeah. And so I finally get these apparitions' attention, and they kind of look at me. And now I'm kind of getting creeped out. I'm getting scared now. And so, but then they turn away. They pay no attention to me, and I'm just watching what's going on. And this goes on probably just for about 23, 24 seconds. And the thing that amazed me, or freaked me out the most, is shot glass physically rose up into the air,
Yeah.
and it appeared like the apparition took a shot out of it, but nothing came out of it. Just it came up into the air. They looked at me, and then they faded away.
That's
And the
cool.
glass dropped suspended in the air and hit the top of the bar.
Yeah. It's almost like the two dimensions were kind of crossed over
Yeah.
at that time. I wonder what they were thinking when they saw you. Were you the ghost on their side?
I thought about that. And the only reason I tell this story is we're talking about this today, right? And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
was I, was I backwards in time? Was I forward? Was I the ghost? And were they even ghosts what I was looking at? But I tell you what, I had a Bigfoot encounter, which was kind of at the time terrifying. But this, I wasn't that scared because I felt comfortable in my place of
Yeah,
business. It's like, hey, this is my domain. You're guests, but they seemed cool. I mean, it was just so strange,
that's weird.
and I was wondering if they were trapped spirits because even employees would tell me that, look, Rob, late at night we hear all it's kind of creepy here at night. Could we have two people at night to close up? I'm like, sure. And I'd like to know, and I sold that place and I haven't been back since. And well, it's out of business because of it's just out of business now. And
Mhm.
I'm like, wow. So I was wondering too if that was probably remnants, like I say, back in the 1920s, and that place used to be a bootlegging operation.
Yeah. It could be trapped. I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like they're having fun. So,
Yeah,
I mean, Rob, honestly, last night I woke up, actually really early this morning. I woke up, and sometimes, you just wake up out of a pretty deep sleep for no reason, apparently. And as I was laying there, I heard a noise in my kitchen. And so, I have a German Shepherd. Okay. I have a big dog who sleeps in my bed.
yeah,
So
okay,
she heard it and immediately jumped up and she went to go do her job, let's just say, downstairs. And
uh huh,
I'm the kind of person that is hyper vigilant. I've got cameras all over the place. Okay. So I started checking my cameras inside and outside. And you won't believe what I saw, Rob. I was expecting maybe to see if we had a burglar action. I was prepared to take care of that, but I was sitting there just kind of watching for a second to try to get a feel for what was going on. And a gigantic orb, floated across my kitchen floor. And it wasn't like floating, and I saw a gnat, or I saw a gnat fly by, so I knew the difference between a gnat and some dust or whatever. But this was a orb, and it kind of like had a sparkly light to it. It was like, woo, it kind of flared or flickered or something. I don't know. It was weird. But I don't know. It was around the same height as like my dog, kind of.
hmm
So could have been one of my deceased dogs. I don't know. But there's definitely something. So today we are cleansing the house. Okay. I'm cleansing the energies. Those things are not allowed.
you know,
Okay.
I gotta ask you, Jessica. God, that's awesome. Well, depending your point of view,
Yeah.
we hear about seeing orbs in the forest. I mean, I've seen orbs in the bar. I've seen orbs, I think, in my house. I think, but they just seem to materialize anywhere. What's your take on that? What do you think? I've got so many different takes that I've heard. One guy told me it's actually mini UFOs that are being sent here to just kind of traverse about the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thought. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. As far as orbs go, I think that there's so many different types of orbs. I've
Okay.
seen so many different types. And the type that I saw this morning was more like a spirit type of orb. Okay, at least I like to think it is.
Mhm.
Could have been an alien. I don't know. Everything's aliens these days. So,
Yeah. Well, some people think
but
aliens are spirits or the demon, even. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
It depends on your point of view.
exactly. It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
But I've seen lots of different orbs out in the field, in the woods, and they're all, like I said, they're all different. Some of them look solid. Some of them are balls of light. A lot of them in the woods are balls of light. Okay, and some of them are the size of a tennis ball.
hmm
Some of them they look like the moon.
hmm
Okay, and we've mistaken them for the moon until they start moving all weird in different
hmm
directions. Okay, so there's all sorts of different types. Also, I've seen a video from somebody's backyard where there were metallic orbs that shot down from the sky, and they turned into aliens and ran
Oh,
around, and they turned back into orbs and shot back into the sky. So they're all different. So I think the one that was in my camera this morning, I believe it was I think it looked more like a spirit kind of thing. So yeah, we're taking care of that today. It's not going to happen anymore.
And orbs too. I mean, they could be associated with maybe spirits or entities, or I think aliens or UFO. Also, aren't the fairies or the fae? Don't they kind of prance around in like little orbs too? Or
I've
is it?
heard that. Yeah. I don't think I've ever experienced a fairy before. So I don't I guess they do. I would assume. I don't know.
Yeah,
I need to
I'm gonna have
I'd
a
like
good.
to see one.
I would too. In fact, I got ended the last Thursday in September having Gemma Jade on. We're talking about the fae.
Yeah.
I've never spoken on that, and I think that should be a cool day, cool subject.
Yeah, that will be.
I was talking to this guy's name was Tom Moore, and he's a experiencer of alien abduction. And he was telling me that this is his theory, what he firmly believes in. He goes, Rob, when you're in the woods, because he was a hunter and he also was a Bigfoot researcher. He was telling me, Rob, when you're in the woods and you see those 1 foot orbs, I said, well, no, I've never seen any. He goes, okay. What they are is, he goes, they're aliens and it's UFO craft. And he says, what they are is, and you can see how they go zigzag all about, and they're made out of like a gelatin or a plasma, and there's this little alien, like an 8 foot, 8 inch alien is inside there, and all they're doing is they're just traversing about the woods. And he goes, you hear those stories about how Bigfoot would all of a sudden appear? I said, yeah, we've all heard those stories. So we've heard, hey, a Bigfoot, a orb, an alien,
Mhm.
kind of together. He goes, yeah. And he says that what they're doing is they're looking, he goes, they are helping. He told me this. Now, this is what he told me. They're looking for an area where Bigfoot can go out and not be bothered by humans. And I thought that to be kind of a strange statement, because Bigfoot is the hide and seek champion of the forest. He does not need the help of an orb to show him a clean pathway, right? So take that for what you will. But I do
Yeah.
believe that orbs could be sent down from the mothership, right?
I mean, anything's
Possibility.
possible.
Anything's
I don't know.
possible.
Anything's possible. I can tell you from my experiences what I've seen, and but I don't know. The more that I've experienced, the less I know. So I don't know.
Oh, me
Like
too.
seriously, anything's possible, Rob. I don't
And
know.
listen,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
asking
think
you, yeah,
orbs can turn into Bigfoots for all I know.
and again, I'm just throwing
I
out there
don't
just
know.
to talk, and just kind of just go over ideas. And I
Yeah.
know you're not an expert, I ain't an expert. It's just like, but the more I learn, the less I know, right? Or
Yeah.
the more stories I hear, the less I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the more you're out in the field and you're experiencing all this weird high strangeness, it gets so weird. You start questioning everything. You're like, what I thought that was is not what it was. Okay. And so I can't tell you what it is, but there's a lot of things I can tell you what it's not. So I don't know.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I go back and forth because I had my Bigfoot encounter. I still can't give you a solid 100% idea what I saw,
Yeah.
because sometimes I'm saying it's flesh and blood, sometimes I'm saying it's supernatural. When I first saw it, it was the devil, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and that's one of the few things in life where you can never fully get a grasp on. I can get a grasp on the 5 plus 5 is 11. Oh, excuse me, 10,
What?
right? I'm making a point. 5 plus 5 is 10, and I know that to be
Yeah.
fact. What
Right.
I saw, I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half of my friends or researchers say Bigfoot, half say an entity of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And I don't know what I saw at the bar. I mean, I guess they were ghosts, but I don't know really what they were. Was I really seeing that, or was I sleeping? Hell, I don't even know if I question whether I was awake.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what's interesting is that when I was a kid, I saw dead people or ghosts, what I thought were, I
Ooh.
guess they're ghosts. And and then as an adult, I was seeing ETs with the same type of communication and doing the same things, as ETs. So I question, well, what I was seeing as a kid was I being, were humans being projected into my mind instead of ETs? Were they ETs the whole time? Okay. And my little brain couldn't comprehend what I was seeing, or they were putting some sort of screen memory in my head. And I was thinking I was communicating with humans, but it was actually ETs. I don't know.
Wow.
Like I
You
said,
know,
the more I experience, the less I know.
yeah. And
I
it's
don't know
like,
anything.
again, that's why I like talking about this is just sitting around, just chit chatting. It's like, because I've told you guys a story about I get the mist that comes down. It has not in a long time, but you get that mist. And my thing that concerns me about a lot of these encounters I've had, not the Bigfoot, but the ghosts that I supposedly seen as a kid that somebody told me, the mist that I've seen in my house. The thing that scares me, and that's terrified in the way that I'm scared for my life. I don't know if I'm conscious, asleep, traveling, whatever, or anything. I think I'm awake, but I don't even know if I am. And that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm concerned with when I have these experiences.
Yeah. I just experience it, okay, and I don't if with all the experiences that I've had in my lifetime, I don't sit around and ponder them too much, because I've learned to just accept, be like, okay, I experienced that. I'll write it down somewhere. I put it in my little diary, my journal, and move on about it, because I there's just you'll probably go crazy if you worry too much about it and put too much thought into it. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh no, you're right, and I can sometimes do that. But I was really scared the first time with the mist because
Yeah.
I had a witch on the show
Oh
way
no.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a year ago when we first started, and
Mhm.
she told me it was like the devil, and it kind of
Yeah.
freaked me out. And so I went out, bought sage and everything, and battened down all the windows and doors, and I burnt that and had these. I got these oils and I think even
Mhm.
crystals or something she told me to do, and sure enough, it stopped. It did. And then, like 6 months later, oh, all of a sudden it's coming again.
Yeah, you have to constantly protect yourself and cleanse your home. It's important. Maybe if I had done that yesterday. See, I've been doing tarot readings lately.
Yeah,
I'm doing private readings. Okay, if anybody wants one, y'all sign up on my website. It's the only place to get them. But they're a lot of fun, and sometimes I'm very good about shutting the energies down, opening up the energies and shutting them back down.
hmm,
uh but I mean, I don't normally have any kind of paranormal activity in my home. I
yeah,
protect the energies here, and this morning I think something might have slipped through, so that's me knowing that I need to do a better cleansing after working with other people's energies and stuff out of my home. Okay,
yeah,
so that's a real thing.
yeah. And for a person that doesn't know anything, I know nothing about tarot readings, but I would assume that if you're doing that from your home, that you're kind of opening up your home to certain spirits or entities or
I
something. Are
mean,
you? Or
just
no?
being a channel, period. I mean, I do remote viewing too. I mean, I do a whole lot of different psychic stuff.
I
So
did not know you were a remote viewer.
yeah, I do that for fun. And I have a show on Friday nights about it.
Ah,
So
yes, that's right. Remote viewing with Jessica Jones every
yeah.
Friday night, 9 Central.
Oh my gosh. And we have a really good one tomorrow night. And it's this morning I actually remote viewed animal unspecified animals. They said that they were packs of dogs that killed two different people on the same road out in Tennessee, two different times. And I looked into that, man. I don't know. I got to tell you, y'all need to tune in tomorrow night. It's
Oh,
interesting.
well,
It's
I'm
very
doing more than
interesting.
I'm doing more than tuning in. I'm going to be your sidekick for that one
Exactly.
tomorrow.
You
So
are. It's going to be
that's going to
fun.
be great.
It's but I say it's going to be fun, but it's actually very sad, and it's a
Yeah,
very serious topic. And I've got to be very gentle about it because this is recent, and I don't usually do recent attacks and things like that because it's so sensitive. And so I mean, I might need to just leave out names and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, and just be kind of more general about it because it's very serious. Yeah.
let me ask you too. Like, if you're doing a remote view and let's say it's something sad, it's something that's tragedy. It's usually involved death.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I've known you for a while. That takes a toll, doesn't it,
It
on you physically and
does.
mentally,
It
spiritually?
does. Yeah. I was I was feeling a little off after I did those this morning. I don't like looking at death. Okay. And especially these were very, very savage deaths. Okay. And attacks. Um, so yeah, that's another part of protecting yourself and protecting your energy and taking the right precautions and the steps to shut it all down when you're done. You got to
Mhm.
shut it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes, just like I was telling you in the very beginning when I was having these experiences, especially after the Bigfoot and I got dark and I just didn't care about nothing. I think that a lot of times that I started thinking so much of the why or trying to figure out how that it kind of broke me a little bit. And I think that the more I kept thinking about dark things, I believe that I manifested a lot of
Yeah.
these things that I probably wouldn't even have brought upon myself if I didn't open myself up to it.
Yeah.
So, does that make sense to you?
Oh, that's a powerful statement because that's true. And when I was younger, before I had a child, and when I was living on my own out in my apartment, several years ago, I loved watching not only ghost shows but murder mysteries, like the First 48. That was my favorite show. Uh, but I feel like I started feeling like I was going to manifest those things. Like I started realizing that the more I was watching, the more paranoid I was getting, and I felt like I was going to attract. What if I was attracting like serial killers or something just like watching that show? It's really odd because there is a vibe like and it was all fun and games until they started filming that show on my street. Okay, so they started filming in Decatur, Georgia, and then I quit watching it because I knew that I might just manifest that right here, and sure enough, they were filming right on my street one night. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's something that you can manifest, and especially with these really scary ghost shows and things like that. A lot of the ghost shows are not scary, but a lot of them I've noticed have become very dark, and they deal with demonic entities and things like that. And I don't want that in my house. Okay. And your television, talking about portals, your TV is a portal. Okay. And when they're doing those rituals and those chants and making those tones and you can hear the vibrational frequencies and the things that they use, that can travel through your television.
Let me tell you something, Jessica. When you brought up the thing about another 48 hours, here's the thing too, about 4 or 5. I've always my favorite type of movie is like a horror or the monster movies, right? I love
Yeah.
the old ones, like the original Wolfman, Frankenstein. And then of course today's horror flicks are more they're just gore, right? So I try to
Yeah.
find stories that are like not unfortunately, but I used to watch these satanic type ones where there was a cult that the cops are trying to smash this ring, because they're satanic worshipers. I got into those shows and watched them, and but it seems though ever since when I had my encounters, right, with certain
Yeah.
things, and then I started watching these shows repetitively, right,
Yeah.
then the weird things would start happening. Then I would start thinking that I was seeing ghosts, thinking
Yeah.
that a mist was coming down my hallway. I actually, being totally sober, was getting paranoid at my own manifestation in my mind
Yeah.
because the mind is a powerful tool. And if you can scare yourself for no reason, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking
Yeah.
that my television was
Within a
talking to me
reason.
like, "Hey."
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
since quit watching that, and because I don't like it. I don't like the thought of having something like that in my house. And ever since getting my house cleansed, I had it cleansed again,
Yeah.
and getting that feeling of getting trapped where I can't move, I'm paralyzed until I started saying Our Father. Then I got
Yeah.
broke free of that mist around my chair. It's scary, but you know what? I think I've been having these encounters ever since I was a kid, and I'm
Yeah.
just now realizing it.
Yeah, our thoughts become things. So be careful what you're thinking, be careful what you're consuming, what you're watching, and try to stay as high vibe as possible. That means living in love. Okay, the opposite of fear. Okay, we don't want to live in fear, and watching things that are, murder and gore and attacks and all that stuff. And I know I got a show about attacks. Okay, and it's but I'm trying to put some love and light on it. Okay. So but yeah, it's just we got to be careful what we're consuming and try to be a little more high vibe and watch things that make you feel good.
Yeah.
Okay, and make you
And,
laugh.
and I think the reason that I watch like murder mysteries, I like the truth. And Jessica, I can't speak for you, but things that unfortunately there's maybe murder involved or there's just something strange that happens. I think in general we kind of are like investigative minds. We want to know
Yeah,
what's in the mind of that person. Like I'd like to know what's in the mind of a serial killer. I kind of want to know why they think that way.
I
I don't
don't.
want to become that. But I find myself watching more of these things or more of these documentaries, or I'll watch documentaries on history about what happened in the 1900s. Because a lot of that is predicated about what we do today, right? Because history doesn't change. What we've learned in the history kind of accentuates what we learn today.
Yeah.
So
No, I love history shows and stuff, but of course, I'm also learning that a lot of our history is not what they say it is.
no, it
So,
isn't. It isn't. Now that's
yeah,
going to be a show for another
yeah,
time, Miss Jessica Jones, because
yeah,
that is something we've got to get into.
yeah. I mean, I really enjoy watching ancient aliens and stuff like that.
I've been
So
watching more of
that's
that.
fun.
I'm not watching any more death and destruction, right? I'm not watching satanic worship. I'm
Yeah,
watching and I don't even watch TV. I mostly just watch documentaries or I'm researching other things, And but if I do, I like the ancient aliens 'cause that's usually on every night.
yeah,
So and
yeah.
it's it doesn't give me nightmares.
Oh, I just watch Texas Front Porch every night.
Oh, you've got to be a porcher. You got to be a porch watcher.
I don't have time to watch anything else, so I get a second.
Well, you have
I'm
time.
watching
Well, you have
Texas
time
Front
to watch.
Porch
You have time to watch Bigfoot, Michigan Rob at
or
12
Space Out
o'clock.
Radio. I don't know, one of
Space,
those.
yeah, Space Cell Radio.
Yeah, you
You know
guys
what,
tune in
just
Saturday and Sunday nights,
yeah,
10
Jessica.
p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we're gonna shut her down here in a minute. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find you?
Yeah, well, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress, on my website, thecryptidhuntress.com. I am part of Texas Front Porch. Okay, so y'all can find me on remote viewing investigations on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And let's see, and Spaced Out Radio every Saturday and Sunday night on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel live.
Yeah, very good, Jessica. As you guys
Yeah,
all know, this show, Bigfoot Mission Rob, brunch with Bigfoot Mission Rob is on Thursdays, noon Central, 1 in the East. Mondays, Texas Front Porch is at 6:30 Central. Tuesday's an off day. Wednesday is Jason McLean questions everything. That's on at 10 Eastern. Thursdays is this show. Thursday night, me and Jason will be doing the serial papers. It's I don't know what he's talking about tonight. Something that I'm sure will be very intriguing. And then Fridays, of course, is remote viewing with Jessica Jones. That's at what 9 Central? Is that 9 Central, just or 8
9
Central?
Eastern, 8
9 East,
Central.
East
Yeah,
Central. And of
yeah.
course, everybody subscribe to our channels if you haven't. Share them out. Subscribe to the Cryptid Huntress, BMR, Suru Papers, Texas Front Porch. Most of you have, but share them out for us. We do appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you in chat, even though I didn't personally say hi, hello, I love you. Until next time, Jessica Jones,
Yeah. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
BMR. We'll see you in the
Okay.
weekend. Thanks, Jess.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
All right, bye bye. If I can find the button here, I gotta find the button to take us home, Jessica. Boy, let's see. I don't know.